One. Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'll be your host this afternoon, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, my brother, my co-host, my partner in crime, my brother Alex. Alex, how you doing?
What's up, my brother? What's going on? Partner in crime. If you had to commit a crime, who would you pick as a partner?
You know, there's very few people, but like I would pick you. Like you would be one of the people. There's only like two or three, but you would be one of them. Like I would pick you because
Cool.
I know that you would, if I said, Alex, I did this, you have to help me out of it. I know you would help me no matter what it was, no matter how bad it was, unless it was something
Right.
like against mom and dad, you would help me. And
Right.
two, if I said, don't say a word to anybody, I know you would. So yeah, you would be one. There's only like three people in my life that I would. How about you?
Cool. Well, thanks. I feel privileged, I guess,
It's an
to
honor.
know I would be a good partner in crime.
How about you? Who would you pick?
Well, I mean, I would definitely pick you because big brother always takes care of little brother, and right. So I
For
think that
sure.
would you would fit the description. Uh, probably, probably maybe one or two other people that I can think of.
Yeah.
Definitely cousin Jay. Cousin Jay, I would definitely pick.
See, I wouldn't.
Really?
I
I
don't
would.
know. I don't know why, but I get the feeling he'd open his mouth and tell somebody.
I don't know, man. These days, cousin Jay is looking very slim, so he's obviously not opened his mouth very big. So, uh,
That's
so
true, right?
I think he would keep his mouth shut.
So for just to catch people up, everyone's heard us mention our cousin Jay from Philly, who is mortal enemy number one after this past weekend where the Phillies drubbed the Mets and took over first place in the NL East. But cousin Jay had a goal of losing 45 pounds before his 45th birthday, which is in November. And he set this goal in January. Motherfucker already hit it. He already hit it. He lost 45 pounds by it was a couple of weeks ago, right? It was in July. So it only took him
Yeah,
7 months to lose 45 pounds. And look, everybody's on their own path and it's different for everybody. But for Jay to lose 6 pounds a month for 7 straight months, right? Because that's what it works out to on average. I mean, it's incredible. And it's like, look, it's like every other good story you've heard. He started off by just watching what he ate. Once he started feeling better, losing a few pounds, he got motivated, started walking, then started running a little bit. And eventually, between exercise and diet, he's transformed himself. He does look, I mean, he looks like a different person.
absolutely, absolutely. So shout out to cousin Jay because I mean, seriously, I mean, and I don't think he just from judging, I don't think he told many people, if anybody, because we had no idea. So, and think about it too. This is like during COVID when while he's working at home, and the fridge is right there, right? And so, I mean, that's pretty impressive, man. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
I mean,
lie.
look, and I can attest to the whole COVID thing. I've been home since March of last year, right? So I'm about 18 months into being working from home, right? We were supposed to go back to the office at the beginning of August. It got pushed back another month because of the recent spike from the Delta variant. Um, and I have slowly gone up the scale, and I haven't put on a lot of weight, but I mean, I work out every day. I mean, I run
Right.
every single day, and I've still managed to put on weight. Um, and my and the and like even though I haven't put on a lot of weight, I think about 12 pounds total. You can tell it's redistributed, not right, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
starting to get a gut, which I've never had. Even when I've been this heavy before, I didn't have a gut, but now I do. And it's just hard, man, being at home all the time. And so yeah, it makes it even more impressive that he's lost that much weight over the span of 7 months.
Yeah. Pretty crazy. So if cousin Jay can do it, you can do it.
That's right. That's right. Because God knows that he's a foodie too. Like he loves him some food, and he does a whole lot of cooking and bread and pasta and pizzas and stuff. So, I'm sure he likes a little bit of those beverages and whatnot. But so yeah, transformation for him. Hey, look, it's been the last week of July saw a transformation for a lot of baseball teams because Friday, July 30th was the trade deadline. Now you can still make trades after that, but it would affect your postseason roster. You had to make trades before July 30th so that these guys that you traded away could be on postseason rosters. So that's the real push for a lot of teams. To me, no surprise that the Cubs were big sellers. It's kind of sad in a way to see really the faces of that franchise over the last 5 years just gone in a matter of 48 hours. Javi Baez to the Mets, Anthony Rizzo to the Yankees, Chris Bryant to the Giants. I don't know what they got for it, but hopefully it's something that pushes them back towards a World Series, because what they gave away was the core of their World Series team. And in a way, we see this a lot come the trade deadline, but for some reason, that one in particular made me kind of sad. It wasn't just your regular old fire sale like the Marlins do every 5 years. It felt different, and it really made me kind of sad for, Cubs fans all around the world who are very, very passionate about their team, but it's the way it goes, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. I don't think any of us were shocked that they got traded. I think you and I both thought they keep one, right, out of the three. And not only did they unload those three guys, they also got rid of their closer, who's been freaking lights out, and they ship him across town to the White Sox.
Yeah. Which, back in the, before the turn of the century, they would have never made that deal. But now, since both teams have won a World Series, right? The White Sox in 2005, which it's a long time ago, but not that long ago. And the Cubs in 2016, 17, whenever it was, they're more likely to make a deal now. So what was the...
Yeah, but it's still...
Go ahead.
Yeah, but even so, it's still, you just don't see it that often. Like, it doesn't... Kimbrel is having a great season, and the White Sox before adding Kimbrel have one of the best bullpens and one of the best teams in the majors. So I don't know. I was a little shocked that they traded him to the White Sox, but you just don't happen to see it too often,
Which deal do you think? Which one kind of raised your eyebrows the most?
Well, the Javi Baez kind of raised my eyebrow a little bit. I think the Mets got the wrong Cub to begin with, and they got a baseball player that he has an elite glove, is a great base runner, but he doesn't complement what the Mets have been up until the deadline and up until now. He's a low base on ball guy, high strikeout rate. His average is like 240, 245. So it didn't complement what the Mets were needing. I think he fits in because the Mets are not hitting, like they haven't been hitting, up until the trade deadline. So I don't see how that really helps. I mean, it's nice that he's got 24 home runs, but that he swings at bad pitches. I'm really not in love with the guy. And if I had to choose, Chris Bryant was the player that I would have traded for. And so, and it's an eyebrow raiser because the Mets are all in on analytics. Sandy Alderson is kind of running the front office a little bit. So it's like, if you're that heavy into analytics, then how does a high strikeout, low base on ball guy help out a team that is second to last in runs scored per game. Only other team worse are the Pirates. How does that help? So that one is definitely an eyebrow raiser, a head scratcher, all that stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was I didn't quite get that deal from the Mets perspective. I like Javi Baez. He's very, very entertaining, but in terms of what the Mets needed, yeah, Chris Bryant would have been a better have. And quite frankly, more bullpen help would have been better too. The bullpen has been good, but it is a bit of a weak point. I think the Mets kind of got lulled into a false sense of security with their lineup. They hit decently going up to the All-Star break. They had a few spots where they were bad with runners in scoring position, runners on base in general, blah, blah, blah. But then they seemed to overcome that. They went through the rash of injuries and they kind of got through it. And I think they kind of fell in love with it. And they thought, oh, yeah, we're a good hitting team. We'll bring in another bat. And, since the All-Star break, they reverted back to the team that they were before the team that we thought they were going to be before the season started. We thought they were going to be a average hitting team that did not perform well with runners on base and runners in scoring position. And it's, this is the team that they are. This is what they're doing. And they bring in a guy who's admittedly not good in terms of getting on base and things like that. So with a high strikeout rate and whatnot. So I didn't agree with the deal either, in spite of the fact that I like them. The team that surprised me is, I didn't really think the Dodgers had to do anything. And then they went out and they got Max Scherzer, which, is just another solid arm for that rotation. I think they probably needed bullpen help more than another starter, but if you have another starter who's going to take some of the weight off the bullpen, doesn't that kind of make your bullpen better? And it's really kind of a case of the rich get richer, right? It's not like they really needed to make a big move here for at the trade deadline, because they're one of the top teams in the league. But yet here we are. They made another move, and now they're that much better than they were before the trade deadline.
Not only Max Scherzer, they got Trey Turner.
Oh, yeah. Which, where do you put Trey Turner at this point?
I guess you can play him in second base. I mean, heck, they're playing Mookie Betts at second base. So, I mean, they're fucking loaded.
Yeah.
And just back to Max Scherzer real quick. The Dodgers are going to the postseason. They're going to at least play a wild card game, right? But they're going to be in the postseason. If they win that wild card game, I mean, you hardly need a bullpen. Now you got guys who can go 7-8 innings, right? Walker Buehler, Max Scherzer, Kershaw. I mean, heck, the Diamondbacks did it with two greats, right? With Schillen and Randy Johnson. The Dodgers have three. So, I mean, bullpen, hardly comes into play in the postseason, right?
Well, less so. Yeah, less so. Especially when you got
right.
those kind of starters. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I thought go ahead.
No, I was going to say the other team I think that did pretty well, and they did actually, opposite, or they did what I would have liked the Mets to have done, or the Yankees. That's a very righty heavy lineup. They went and got two left-handed bats. Joey Gallo, he's kind of like Javi Baez, right? He's going to swing for the fences, right? But, I mean, in that ballpark, a routine fly ball for Gallo is out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Anthony Rizzo, who can play first base, can DH, and obviously another left-handed bat, has got the postseason experience, can pass that down to the rest of the clubhouse. So I think the Yankees did pretty well, kind of fixing what was broken with that lineup.
Yeah,
it was a need, and I think they got it.
Yeah, while I think the move was good, I am critical of them. I think they needed pitching help more than they needed a left-handed bat. And their starting pitching is not great. Their bullpen is not great. Chapman has been a real issue this year, and they did nothing to address that. So while picking up two left-handed bats for a right-handed heavy lineup is good, I still don't. I don't give that trade deadline, those trade deadline moves a very high grade. I don't give the team a high grade because I think they didn't address the most glaring issue, which is the pitching. I think the Giants did great to get Chris Bryant. That's a good pickup for them. Same thing as the Anthony Rizzo deal, right? It's good to have a guy who has that playoff experience for a team that does not have a lot of playoff experience. So, good for them. And I think he's going to do really well in San Francisco.
Yeah. Can the Giants keep up? I mean, they're like the most non-talked about team. I don't think they've gotten the respect that they may deserve so far. I think that I mean, no one's giving them a chance to win the division. It's kind of disrespectful 100 games in, and they're just, they're playing great. They're playing great baseball. I think part of the problem is they don't have the Aaron Judges, and they don't have the swag of the White Sox with Tim Anderson, right? They got like this really low key team, and I don't know. That may be dangerous for everybody else in the National League come playoff time. I think they may prove some people wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. And look, it's there's nothing to sneeze at with that team. I mean, they are 4 games ahead of the Dodgers right now. So, they're going to make the playoffs, and they're a real problem for anyone else out there. And yeah, you're right. They don't get any of the respect. They don't seem to be they don't seem to garner any attention somehow, but they're there.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see how it all shakes out in the West. I think it's going to be quite entertaining. I'm trying to pull up batting stats. Here we go, team stats. The Giants are league average in batting average, and their OPS is a little bit higher than the average, 761 to 722. So it's the pitching that's doing the job. Now they could have used another starter, right? Their team ERA is 4.40. It's a little bit higher than the average of 4.21. Their WHIP is at 1.298. I mean, they're doing it with average numbers, but somehow they're doing it, right? They just keep doing the damn thing. And I think that's why people are not giving them the respect that that they deserve.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, their WHIP is a league best 1.122. So that's how they're doing it. Pitching. That's amazing. Even better than the Dodgers.
And it sounds like they've also been able to stay healthy,
Yeah. Well, that's been a big thing. That's been a big thing. What else?
What other team? Other team nobody's really talking about, and they actually just finished a series against the Giants, has been the Brewers. Like the Brewers have been kind of quietly, playing some really good ball. They added Willie Adames from the Rays. That's proven to be a really good pickup. And that guy's, I've heard his name in like MVP talk for the National League. He's really come in and played really, really good. So, watch out for the Brewers. That's another team that, again, nobody's really talking about a lot, right? Small
Yeah.
market.
Look, and they're up 5 in the Central, and there's really no one behind them that scares me, right? The Reds are 5 games back, but the Reds are, I feel like the Reds are living on borrowed time. And then you've got the Cardinals, who are 1 game below 500, 10 and a half games out. And then the Cubs and the Pirates. So that division looks like they could pretty much easily sail into the division win and into the playoffs. So making moves like that for them, they're obviously gearing up for the postseason.
And come postseason time, playing on the road is always a little difficult now, especially with fans being allowed in the stadiums. Milwaukee's 34-19 away. I mean, I think that's the best road record in the majors. So that's impressive too, that they're able to win on the road like that.
Yeah, I mean that is. I don't think anyone else has got only 19 losses on the road. Yeah, no. I mean, you got the Giants at 36-24. The Rays are 33-22. But not, yeah. I mean, that is the best record, and by quite a bit, I think. That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, I think the American League MVP is going to be a super tight race, man. I mean, seriously, I think it's been fun to watch so far. I mean, those guys are going like at it.
Yeah. Oh no, look, I'm obviously biased towards Ohtani, but I mean, it's going to be fun. Both of those guys are having great seasons, and unless there's an injury, I think it's going to go down to the very final day. And after the season's over, I think we're going to still debate it back and forth. And it could be one of the closest races ever, because both guys have been incredibly impressive all season long. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Anything else that catch your eye at the trade deadline?
No, not really. Houston's another team, right? I mean, they're obviously like the most hated team in the majors or in sports altogether. And I mean, they went and got themselves some help, right? Some bullpen help that they needed. I feel like they fleeced they're within their own division, but they went and got some help, and that's good for them. I think the White Sox already had a good bullpen. They went and got Kimbrel. I think that was kind of like I don't know. I felt like that was a power move. Like they want to go out there and just dominate, because we know what the offense can do, right?
Well, basically what they're telling everybody is either you try to win this game in the first 6 innings, or you're not going to win it. And oh, by the way, we're going to play 9 innings because we've got a good lineup, and you got to worry about us all game long. You're going to play 6 innings, and you have to do it against a pretty good starting rotation too, with Giolito and Lynn.
Right.
So, they're really setting themselves up nicely for the postseason, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see.
All right. Well, I don't see anything else that really catches my eye in terms of the trade deadline. Have you enjoyed the last couple of weeks of baseball?
I mean, a baseball fan, yeah. As a Mets fan, not much. but yeah. I mean, I think aside from a couple divisions, the AL East is looking a little tighter than it was maybe a couple weeks ago. The White Sox seem to be running away in the Central. I don't think nobody's going to catch up to Houston.
Oakland's only 2 games out.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, I know that. I said, look, when I looked at the standings this morning, I said the same thing. I said, Oakland's only 2 games out. the Astros have been on a bit of a skid here the last 4 or 5 games, but still, I thought they had
Yeah.
a bigger lead than that. I think the AL East is going to be really interesting. I mean, the Rays have a four game lead over the Red Sox, but the Yankees are playing better. They're coming. The Blue Jays are playing better. They're coming. I mean, both of those teams have won 7 of their last 8, I think, or some crazy number like that. So, it's starting to really compact in the AL East, and I think that's going to be probably the most entertaining of all of the races, because those teams will be fighting for the division and they'll be fighting for a playoff spot against the A's out west.
Yeah, I mean, you got Tampa Bay, the Yankees, and Toronto. They're 8-2 in their last 10. I mean, Toronto's 7 games out of the division, but heading into the last month of the season, you're going to see a lot of divisional games, which could, anything can happen there, being that these 4 teams are so close to each other. And I mean, they're only 3 games back of the wild card. So, that one could be that one could come down. That division could come down to the last 2 weeks of the season there.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. And, like you mentioned earlier, as a Mets fan, the 2 weeks or 3 weeks since the All-Star break have not been great. But that division is getting really entertaining now, because whereas the Mets had about a 5-game lead at one point, now the Phillies are up in that division. They're up 2 on the Braves, 2.5 on the Mets. I don't know how the Braves are doing it, to be honest with you, because that's a team that has gone through a lot of injuries. They lost Acuna. Remember, they lost Ozuna as well due to it being on the MLB suspension list. And somehow they're still hanging right in there. Granted, it's not the best division in the league, but it looks like we're going to have a three-team race down to the bitter end.
Yeah, and Atlanta's another team that at the trade deadline, they lost Acuna, and they went and got Jorge, what's his last name? Soler. I mean, he doesn't hit for a lot of average, but I mean, he hits home runs. So that, it doesn't replace Acuna's home run total, but I mean, he gives the team some power, right? So
yeah.
And the Phillies are playing good baseball, man. I mean, they right now have like the front runner for the National League Cy Young. Now you can probably put Bryce Harper into the MVP conversation. I mean, he's playing really good. The bullpen, which was really bad earlier this season, horrible last year, is kind of turning it around. So, I mean, they're playing good at the right time. So
I'll tell you what, I agree with almost everything you said about the Phillies, except for the bullpen thing. While their bullpen has played better here in the last couple of weeks, I still think the bullpen is their Achilles heel. Their bullpen is a problem, and they've gotten away with it a little bit in some instances. I mean, just a couple of days ago, they took a 5-0 lead into the 9th inning, gave up 3 solo shots, and ended up holding on to win 5-3. 1 or 2 players get on base and you still give up those 3 home runs, and then all of a sudden you're in a tie game and things are a mess. So I still think that their pitching is just, their bullpen especially, they're going to have to get a lot of deep starts from Wheeler and Areola. Aaron Nola. You keep calling him Areola on our text string, and it just
I mean, it goes together with his actual name.
Yeah. Nola and Wheeler are going to have to go deep in games in order to keep that bullpen fresh and keep them off the field, basically, because the more innings that bullpen logs, the riskier it gets for the Phillies to win games.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the other thing in that division is there's no fallback. Either you win the division or you're out. There's no wild card for that division.
Basically. So,
yeah. What else? I need to go back and look at the wild card standings for the NL. Right now, you got the Dodgers and the Padres in the wild card. The Padres really did the Padres do anything at the trade deadline?
They got Adam Frazier, the second baseman
Pirates.
from the Pirates. That was a good pickup, but now you lose Tatis now.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So I don't know. And the Reds are sniffing their behind. They're only 2.5 games out behind the last wild card spot.
Yeah. I've heard that the Reds are behind sniffers. All right. What else you got in baseball?
That's it. We pretty much covered the past 2 weeks,
Yeah.
I'd say.
Okay, let's move on. Did you watch the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies?
You know, yes and no. I kind of missed it. I was like, it totally messed me up because it was 2 days. I didn't know it was 2 days, and I'm over here online Sunday morning looking for Peyton Manning's speech because I missed it, or I thought I missed it on Saturday because I got the tail end of the ceremony Saturday night, and I'm like, I can't find it anywhere, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, are they making us like pay for Peyton Manning's speech or something? I'm like, what the hell's going on? And so I ended up missing it again yesterday on Sunday, and so I had to go like on YouTube and listen to it. So, congrats to everybody, but they really did Peyton Manning and his forehead dirty, like dirty.
You didn't like his bust?
I mean, I liked it, but it was. I mean, that's a big. I mean, I know he's got a big forehead, but I mean, the bust has a huge forehead. Poor guy, man.
Like they might have overdone it.
Just a little bit.
I really enjoy the Hall of Fame inductions and whatnot. It's always amazing to me to hear the stories about when they were kids and the people that were impactful in their lives. I mean, obviously, sometimes you take it for granted, right? That there'll be parents and coaches, but the way they talk so reverently about their teammates and their experience, you really get the feeling that for all of those guys who make it to the ultimate accomplishment of being inducted into the Hall of Fame, it's the time that they get to play the game and how much they love the game itself is really what makes it all worth it for them and why they put in the effort and why they are who they end up being, right? Hall of Fame inductees. And it's special to watch. And, I enjoy it so much. Some of those guys obviously I remember because I watched them play a lot. Some of them I saw play in college a lot, like Charles Woodson and whatnot. But I mean, Drew Pearson when I was a kid, Peyton Manning obviously is the most notable name on that list. But even guys like John Lynch, and Calvin Johnson, Megatron,
Right.
just incredible what they accomplish, and it's truly a joy to hear them talk about their experiences and what they're grateful for, and how they got to be as accomplished as they are. It's fantastic, and the busts are, unique.
Well, at least they didn't mess up like Ronaldo's bust for whatever it was that he got. Yeah, I can't remember what it was done for, but so
yeah, some of them are ridiculous. These were,
they were okay.
If you were going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame, right? And let's say you're 50, right? And you finished playing when you were 40, right? So it's 10 years later. I mean, Peyton Manning's case, it's 5 years later, but in some of these guys, it's several years later, right?
Yeah.
Do you want the bust to look more like you today, or do you want it to look more like you at the end of your playing career?
Make it look like my best season. Whatever my best season was, that's how I want it to look.
Right? Like, I would think if it was me, right? Now, granted, they don't have gray hair or whatever, right? The hair is the same color as the bust, but
right.
I would think that I would want it to look more like my last season, right? Or, somewhere in that time frame. Not now, right? Because now, like Drew Pearson is almost 70. I would want it, if I was Drew Pearson, and it took a long time for him to get into the Hall of Fame, I wouldn't want the bust of me now.
Right.
He's 70. I would want the one of when I was 35 and I retired.
Yeah.
But I mean, talk about a tough job. Can you imagine that job? Having to be the bust maker?
Now, do they get to see the bust before? Or the first time they see it is when they unveil it at the ceremony?
I would think they don't see it until the ceremony.
Yeah, fuck that. I want to see it before because you're not going to mess that up. I mean, think about it, bro. Like Ronaldo's, right? For like, if that was in the Hall of Fame, I mean, you want little kids to like, be like, who the hell is that, Dad? Like, is he an alien? Like, well, what the heck?
Here's my other question. If you get inducted into the Hall of Fame, like if I got inducted into the Hall of Fame, once all of my stuff was in there, I'd want to go check it out. Like, do they go to the Hall of Fame and walk around and like every other tourist and go, oh, look, it's the Ed Montana section. Let me look at this stuff. I don't know. It's so hard to imagine, right? It's so hard to imagine being so good at something that you're in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. That's impressive.
I should be in the Hall of Fame, but
you can induct yourself.
I should be in the Philosophy Hall of Fame.
The greatest philosopher of all time.
That's right. The man with the most philosophies.
The Poet.
Well, you got anything else about the Hall of Fame?
Nah, nothing else about the Hall of Fame. Hey, real quick to basketball. Did you see that the starting in the summer league, the NBA has directed the officials, the referees, to stop calling defensive fouls on lean-ins from the shooters. So what I've been complaining about for so long is going to change in the NBA. How great is that?
That's going to cost James Harden like 5 points a game. He does that at least 5 times a night.
Yeah.
Is the NBA trying to lower scoring by the Brooklyn Nets? Is that what they're trying to do?
Quite frankly, I don't care. I just think that's the right thing to do because I think it's bogus and pretty bullshit that the offensive players get that privilege, get that easy way out. You know what I mean?
I wonder if a guy does the jump lean in and the other player holds his ground and falls back, are they going to call charge? What do you think?
I don't know. I didn't read all the details.
That would be interesting.
I mean, I think that's something that should be considered.
Now you're going to get guys at the 3-point line flopping.
Yeah, right. The defenders.
The defenders are going to start flopping at the 3-point line. They're going to go down all the time now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That whole lean-in thing. I'm glad that they're doing away with it because it was. I mean, it just looked dumb. It looked dumb to call fouls on those plays.
It's not basketball, man. I mean, who played like that on the playground? Those guys in the NBA, they didn't play like that. They didn't play like that.
No. Even in college,
Nobody did.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. That's a total NBA thing. That's a total NBA.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of surprised at how much people how much people pay attention to the summer league. I was like, I could care less. Like, it's weird. To me, it's weird to worry about because think about it. Like, we don't pay that much attention to spring training in baseball. We don't pay that much attention to preseason football games. I mean, it's just not right. But for some reason, the summer league is getting a lot of attention. I don't know if that's an ESPN thing or if it's always been that way or what, but it feels kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, I think two things go into that. Number one is gambling. You can gamble on it.
You can bet on the summer league.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. Yes. Come on, man. You can bet on virtual video games. Of course, you can bet on real summer league games.
Dude, here's my question. Since we're talking about betting, does anyone bet on the casino on those on your online betting sites? Like obviously I've been to a few. They have casinos where you can play blackjack and roulette. Does anyone actually play roulette on a betting website? I mean, how much of a degenerate do you have to be?
I've done it once. No, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've done it once, and I do not recommend it. I mean, it's.
Let me guess. It was not a money-making adventure.
You shouldn't do it. No, not at all. I lost $5. But yeah, no, I mean that definitely no. I mean, I'd rather bet on an NFL preseason game than that. I mean, there's no way.
Oh, geez. I can't believe there's betting on summer league.
Yeah.
That's
crazy. You can bet on NFL preseason games.
I can't believe people bet on preseason games either. I mean, that's nuts to me. That's absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
But all right, man. You got anything else?
Nah, man. I think we covered it. We covered it like a blanket.
That's right. If folks want to get a hold of you and talk about degenerate gambling, how do they do that?
On Twitter at Brooklyn Gaucho 1.
If you want to get a hold of me, you can reach me on Twitter as well at eMontana21. You can always email the show, positivesports10@gmail.com, positivesports10@gmail.com. And this wonderful podcast you can catch on all of your podcast platforms like YouTube, Spotify, Podbean, Google Play, iTunes, whatever podcast platform you choose to listen to and or watch podcasts. And with that, we've come to the end of another wonderful episode of the Positive Sports Podcast. As always, folks, ignore the negativity, be the positivity.
Peace.